Good morning, everybody. Just going live on our YouTube right now. Give me just a moment here. I think we're good to go, but I'm gonna quickly double check. It is currently 9 a.m. Here in Minnesota. We are so this is going to be our last visa prep session of our pre-arrival series for fall 2026. The next sessions we have, I think we only have 2 sessions left. The next one is going to be an orientation overview session, and then the final the final pre-arrival session is going to be on placement testing. All right. Okay, and then so we will talk a little bit about how to prepare for your visa interview, how to have a successful visa interview, and then I also have some resources for you guys to look at, to go over, because these resources are going to be really helpful in ensuring that you have a successful visa interview. Now, with that, I am curious if you guys already have a visa interview coming up, and if you do, when that is. If you want to let me know, because we're a smaller group today, I am going to turn on the chat today so that you guys can chat with everyone. You guys can chat with each other if you'd like, with everyone. All right, so you guys should be able to you guys should be able to chat, add your inquiries in the chat. All right, with that, if you guys have an appointment coming up, if you want to let me know when that appointment is, and if it's your first, second, third interview, it's also helpful for me to know. All right, with that, I am actually going to share my screen here. I am going to operate today's session I'm going to operate today kind of assuming that you guys have already set up your visa interviews and that you guys are ready to go, so that I can skip a lot of the information piece at the beginning. But I think today is going to be a good opportunity for you guys to ask questions. If you are curious about something, if you have a question, if you have a certain circumstance surrounding your visa interview, you can either leave it in the Q&A box, or you can also add it in the chat, and I will take a look at it and do my best to answer your questions. My technology is tweaking today. It's stressing me out. All right, part of my screen. Okay. Gonna do that, and then probably fix some stuff here. Okay, so our I-20 request for fall 2026 has obviously already ended. So again, I am going to be skipping a few slides here because, again, June 1st was the deadline to request your I-20, but I am assuming that everyone watching this session right now has already A, received their I-20, and B, have also already submitted and scheduled their visa appointment. Now, the one question that I do get a lot from students is about the CVIS I-901 fee. The CVIS I-901 fee is valid for 1 year. So if you are going for a visa interview, say you paid in June and you're going this year, but you don't get your visa and you defer your application, so you switch to you say that you're coming in the spring instead, because the CVIS I-901 fee is valid for 1 year, even if you're not able to come here in the fall, but you're coming in the spring, if it's within that 1 year time frame, you don't have to repay that $350 payment. However, if you are deferring your application and it goes over that 12-month mark, then you're gonna have to pay that $350 payment again. This is a question that I do get a lot from students, so I'm just kind of letting you guys know. The other thing I always recommend is you keep the receipt in a safe location once you pay for it. The CUS ID is what's on your I-20, and that's what you're going to put down here. This essentially tells the US government what your unique ID is and that you are coming to our university at Minnesota State University Mankato. You please make sure you have the receipt with you. And when you go to your visa interview, I also always recommend students to print it off and take it with them, just in case. Obviously, you have the DS-160 portion of it as well. The other question that we get a lot with the DS-160 is this portion here, which is the US point of contact information. If you do not have family in the US, if you do not have siblings in the US, in the portion of the DS-160 where it says US point of contact, the information that you see on the screen is exactly what you're going to put down. When you say contact person, I know that a lot of you guys are either in contact with me or Violet or some of our other colleagues. I do not recommend putting a name in the contact person portion, because if, for example, you guys put me down and you're coming through the port of entry and for some reason there's some issues and they reach out and they ask for me but I'm not in the office, it creates issues. So just put down do not know. Take a screenshot of what you see on the screen and put down exactly what you see on here. And this is for students that do not have family in the US. This is what you put down exactly. Now, the other thing as well with the DS-160, as you guys already are aware of, is it asks you to list your social media. Now, we highly encourage you to put down an answer truthfully on your DS-160 form, and make sure you put down everything that you've used in the past 5 years. With Facebook, instead of just putting your name down, put the link down so it's easier for them to locate who you are. Now, these are the documents that you're going to want to take with your two-year visa interview. The one thing to remember though is with the visa interview itself, each embassy/consulate will have their own set of instructions that they give out. So sometimes some visa embassies will actually ask you to bring your passport photo with you. At least this is the case in the Nepali embassy that I went to. You had to take your passport photo with you as well, along with uploading it on the DS-160. So these are some of the documentations that you're going to want to take with you to your visa interview. The one question that we get a lot is documentation of ties to your home country, and how can you prove your documentation of ties to your home country. And we'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment here, but that is going to be a big factor when it comes to having a successful visa interview. Now remember that your student visa interview is an F1 non-immigrant visa, which means you are wanting to come to the United States on a specific visa for a specific period of time, and you're going to be returning home to your home country after you get your degree, whether it's for 4 years or 2 years. So when you go to your visa interview, it's going to be really important for you to answer in a way where you are always pointing to the fact that you're returning home after you get your degree. It's really hard when I say it this way, but it's going to be a big factor in having either a successful interview or a not successful interview. The one advice that I give students, which is what I did personally when I did my student visa interview like years ago, is I used to record myself on my phone in my voice recorder and answer questions, and then I would listen back to myself. Now, if you have someone to practice with, that's always great because you can actually get active feedback right away. However, if you don't have someone to practice with and you're just doing it on your own, that also works. That is what I did personally. Otherwise, we also do provide free visa prep sessions with our current international students. You can see the link on my screen right now, which is link.mnsu.edu/visa prep 2. If you go here, you can also schedule free 30-minute visa prep sessions with our current international students. They will give you feedback, they will ask you questions, they will listen to your answers, and they will give you feedback as you go. It's helpful to have someone give you those feedback because sometimes you don't realize that you're saying a lot of things repeatedly or that you are using a lot of filler words. Because remember that your visa interview is most of the time up to 3 minutes max. Some students will have even shorter visa interviews, some will have longer interviews, but on average, we find that most interviews are about 2 to 3 minutes long, so you don't have a lot of time to convince the visa officer that you should get the visa. So these are some other resources we have prepared or found for you guys to take a look at. So Argo Visa, they do a lot of videos on YouTube that you can watch. There's some other links here as well. There's also there's a couple that used to be visa officers and now they just help students with their interviews. I think they're called ZF Visas. I really recommend them as well because they provide really good advice on how to have a successful interview. And I can share that link in the chat for you guys in a little bit. The one thing with the visa prep session with our current international students that I always ask students is you can, again, these are free that we provide for students. If you're signing up for a visa prep session, please show up for that time because the student worker will have to actually take time out of their day to prep for the session, show up for the session. So if you're signing up for a time slot, please make sure you show up on that time slot. We only allow a few no-shows before. If you're repeatedly not showing up to the sessions you're signing up for, we're no longer going to be giving you that free visa prep session. So just keep that in mind. The other thing that I was talking to you guys earlier is about ties to your home country. A lot of times students ask me to give them an answer, but this is impossible because again, I'm not you. You have your own story, you have your own reasons of wanting to return to your home country after you complete your program in the US. So it's going to be really important for you to take some time to think about why you really want to go back home. Is it family and friends? Do you have a job offer? Are you going to be working with your family when you go back? Are you going to be continuing your education when you go back? Everyone's answer is going to be different. There's no one size fit all because this is a very personal question. So you need to think about what it is that is the reason that you're going back home. Because remember, your F1 visa is a non-immigrant visa, which means you are expected to leave after you get your degree and return to your home country. Everyone's reason for that is going to be different, but if you have a family business that you're going to be taking over, if you have documentations of that, take it with you to the visa interview. The other thing too is visa officers will not ask you about ties directly most of the time. Sometimes they might ask you like, oh, are you coming back? Why do you want to come back? But that is not the case for all of the time. So you need to think about how you're answering and how your answer is pointing to your intent to return. Give concrete examples if possible. So if you are a biology major and you're coming here for a biology degree, but you want to go back home and start your own company, what does that company look like? What are you doing with your degree? How does your degree that you're going to get in the US relate to and contribute to what you want to do in the future? Think about it. It's very important that you identify it before the interview because you need to show the visa officer your plans your concrete plans to leave the US and go back to your home country. And again, at any point, if you guys have clarifying questions, leave it in the chat so I can make sure that I am giving you guys the most helpful answers. These are some of the questions that we recommend students to practice. Now, I'm not saying that these are the only questions you should practice and that these are the only questions you're going to get. However, it's helpful to start here, and then you can also take a look at all of the resources that we shared earlier and take a look at those resources as well. Now, why do you want to study in the US and at this university? Think about, why did you apply to MSU? What is it about MSU that drew you to apply here? Do you have friends that study here and they recommended MSU to you? These are all very reasonable answers to that question. So if you do have someone that goes here and they're the ones that recommended MSU to you and they convinced you to come here, that is a completely valid reason to say, like, yeah, I have a friend that studies at MSU. They really recommended the university to me, and I saw that they have the degree that I wanted, XYZ. Now, you also have to make sure, one thing I really want to point out is, don't make sure your answer isn't too long and answer to the point. Sometimes whenever I do visa prep sessions for students, I find that a lot of times students will give a really, really long answer to questions that don't need to be that long. Sometimes obviously you do have to provide context to the question, but not every question needs a 3-minute long answer. Because remember, visa interviews are typically 2 to 3 minutes long. So if you're spending 3 minutes answering one question, it really limits your chances of getting a visa. So whenever you're practicing, whenever you're listening back to your answers, think about, am I answering to the point? Am I actually giving concrete examples? Do I use a lot of do I sound confident? These are all very key things that the visa officer will pick up on. So be confident, keep your answers clear, concise, to the point, and again, be confident. When they ask, this is another question that students typically ask me is, did you apply to any other schools? And they ask, like, what should I say? Answer truthfully. If you apply to like 5-6 universities, just say, like, yeah, I applied to other universities, but I decided to go with MSU because XYZ. Everybody, all of you guys have your own reason of wanting to come to MSU. I cannot give you a one-size-fit-all answer because your story is your own. All I can do is guide you a little bit. Now, the other thing to also think about is ties to your home country again. Like I'm saying, what is your motivation to return after you complete your education? If this is your second interview or third interview, you do have to show some sort of significant change in your application for the visa officer to consider approving your visa this time. So if you're going back, let's say you had a visa interview last week and you're going back a week later, what has changed? Has anything actually changed? Because if nothing has changed and you're coming for a second interview or third interview, there is no reason for them to want to change your visa approval. So think about that. What significant change can you show, especially if this is your second or third or fourth interview? What significant changes are you showing? And how can you convince them to overturn the first denial? If this is your first interview, obviously you don't have to worry about that, but that's something that you really need to think about if you've already been denied once. Typically with any visa interview, you do go through a checkpoint, a security checkpoint. You are supposed to leave all of your technology outside. You shouldn't need to take your laptop with you if you don't need it. So if you don't have to, don't take it with you, but you are going to want to leave your technology like your phone outside the embassy with your friends or family member, whoever is going with you. Your interview is going to be in English, so make sure you're practicing. If you are still very conscious about your spoken English, this is the time to practice before your interview. The interview is typically at a stand-up interview like this. Again, make sure you have all of your documents organized. So I'm going to show you guys the document list one more time. You are going to want to take your I-20 printed and signed, passport, CVIS I-901 receipt, so that's the $350 payment that you did. You're also going to want to take the visa application fee payment, so that's the $185 visa fee. Also going to want to take a photo. Again, check with your consulate. Sometimes they will ask that you bring a photo with you, your passport size photo, admission letter, bank statements, academic transcripts, proof of English proficiency. So if you took TOEFL, Duolingo, whatever you did, you want to take it with you. And then documentation of ties to your home country if you have any. You're not always going to have a documentation to take with you, but if you do, definitely take it with you. I am going to skip forward a little bit here. And again, visa interviews are typically only 2 to 3 minutes long. Remember to be calm, remember to be confident. And the one advice I always give students is, and I'm actually going to share another slide with you guys, and I think this one is going to be helpful for students that have already been denied once. I'm opening our visa denial one. Pema asked, when do they call you for the biometrics, or is it done on the interview day only? So I think it really depends on the embassy itself. Typically you get it done the day of, at least if you are going to, if any of you guys are going to the one in Nepal, they usually do it the day of. They take your fingerprints, but I'm assuming that's the case for everybody. If they do need to schedule a different time, they will reach out to you, so please make sure you're checking your email and you're checking. That's going to be a good habit to get into, is checking your emails, and also asking questions. You can also reach out to their email and see and make sure. But if you sign up for the interview and when you print out that interview thing, it will also say on there. So if it doesn't say anything, you're probably good and you're probably going to get it done the day of. There it is. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. The role of a visa officer essentially is they are trained to assume that you have intent to stay in the US unless you prove otherwise. So they're looking for red flags when it comes to you saying what your intentions are. Do you have enough finances to pay for your program? If you don't, they're likely not going to approve your visa because, again, you don't have the means to pay for your program, so how are you going to study in the US? Did you say during any of your answer that you want to be a resident in the US or you want to immigrate into the US? They're not going to approve your visa. If you are not able to explain or give a clear reason why you are studying in the US rather than your home country or another country. So for example, if there are already like nursing schools in your country and you want to come here for the US, why are you coming to the US for a nursing degree if that's already available in your home country? Why did you pick the US and not just stay there and do the degree there? There has to be a reason. So think about that. Do you have a clear plan for your future? If you are not able to clearly state what your future goals are about your career, they're likely not going to believe that you're going to want to return to your home country. Did you submit fraudulent documents? If you did, most likely not going to get approved. Did you lie on the DS-160 or during the visa interview? I know that some students work with agencies to fill out their DS-160 and all of that, which is not always a good thing, because if there is something on the DS-160 where you were supposed to answer differently, but you didn't, and they find out during the interview, they're likely not going to approve your visa. So it's very important that you're very hands-on in the experience or the process of the DS-160, of scheduling your visa appointment and all of that. Milka, I cannot access my MAVmail at all. You've tried to email IT. So Milka, you are going to want to talk to IT Solutions. Unfortunately, I am not able to troubleshoot this for you because I don't work with IT. So definitely email them and they will get back to you at their earliest convenience. Just make sure you include your Star ID or Tech ID in the email that you send out to them. Or if you're submitting a ticket, just make sure you have that information so they know exactly who you are. The other thing that I want to talk about is there are some things to reflect on when it comes to your visa interview. Do you intend to comply with the terms of your visa? A visa officer wants to know that you're able to afford the cost of attendance throughout the program, and that you're familiar with the subject matter and you know the strengths of your program. If you're coming here for a computer information technology degree, what do you know about that degree? Why did you pick MSU for that degree? Your degree needs to make sense in the context of your goals in the future. So if you are coming here for a electrical engineering degree, but your family does business in some capacity, and you say like, oh, I'm gonna come back and help with my family's business, but it actually has nothing to do with engineering, how are you going to convince the visa officer that that degree is actually going to help you with your future goal and that it makes sense? So what you're doing and what you want to do in the future needs to make sense. Why this school? The visa interview is not an admissions interview. You've already been admitted to MSU. You're already admitted. So when they ask you like, why did you choose MSU? We're not asking you to recite your statement letter or your personal statement. What you want to convince them is actually tell them what it is about MSU that you like. Again, I cannot answer that for you because everyone has a different reason for coming to the MSU. For some of you, it could be that you have friends here. For some of you, it could be that you have family that lives close by. For some of you, it could be that you like the program that we offer at our school. But if you do like the program that we offer at the school, you need to know what the strengths are of that program and what it entails about being a student at MSU. If you haven't done any research on MSU at all and you're only going off based off of what your agent is telling you and that's what you're telling at the interview, it's going to be really apparent and you can really tell when you actually haven't done any research. So whenever I do visa prep sessions with some students, I can tell right away if you actually know anything about MSU and if you've even done any research. If you've been given answers by your agent and that's what you're telling me, or if you've put it into ChatGPT and you're reciting that answer to me, I can tell. And so can the visa officer. ChatGPT is a great tool, but if you're using that tool to create your answers for you for the interview, it's probably not a good idea. So I don't encourage you to do that. ChatGPT can be a great resource on top of your personal research, but don't rely completely on ChatGPT and the answer it's giving you. I think that's one of the biggest answers I can give you because I've done a few visa prep sessions recently where it's all ChatGPT and you can really hear that you're reciting off of ChatGPT because you're using words that we don't use in a normal day-to-day conversation, or you're bringing up points that actually don't matter when it comes to like why you chose MSU. So really think about it. Sit down today, tomorrow, sit down and really think. Like actually think, why are you choosing to come to MSU? What is it that you like about MSU? What is it about your program that you like? What do we offer at MSU about that program that you like? And that's going to kind of really help guide your answers as well. And then obviously, ultimately, like I said before, you're also going to want to think about what ties do you have to your home country? What is the reason that you're going to want to go back home? If you don't have a reason, then you're probably not going to be able to convince the visa officer that you're actually coming back. So think about what your reason is and motivation is to return home, and then go from there. I'm trying to see if there's anything else on here. Yes, so again, like I said, if you've already been denied once, you need to be able to present significant changes in circumstances since your last visa application. So if you've already been denied the first time, this is what I encourage everybody to do: is write down the questions they asked you, write down your answers, be as detailed as possible, and what reason did they give you for your denial. If they didn't give you a reason, that's okay. Why do you think you were refused? Were you not confident? Were your answers too long? Did you actually not do any research about MSU? Did you, were you really nervous? Were you not able to convince that you have the financial means to afford studying here? These are all things to think about and reflect on, whether it's your first interview or if you've already been denied once. So if you have limited finances, right? So if you're studying biomedical sciences, these are some answers that we do have. But again, this is not what you want to recite, because your story is your own and it's going to be very different. So think about strategies. If you are someone that's been admitted to the intensive English program, for example, that usually means that you weren't able to meet the benchmark English proficiency to be admitted into the program right away. How can you communicate that you are going through the pathway of intensive English program and then going into your degree, and why that little bit is necessary for you? So again, think about these things. There's a lot of smaller things to think about. Think about your answers, how long they are, how short they are. And there is another, let me see, let me find it. There is another resource that I think is really nice as well, that I think you guys should take a look at. I am going to share their YouTube page actually, because their YouTube has a lot of great stuff. So that is going to be CF Visa. So they are a married couple, and they were visa officers before. So if you go to their YouTube shorts or even videos, they have a lot of great videos to think about. And I think there's another one that is about how to overcome a prior visa denial. They have some really great resources. They also do provide like paid services as well, but that's, again, it can be a little expensive. It cannot guarantee that you get your visa, but I think just starting with their YouTube is a great idea. All right. I think that's all I had today, but did you guys have any questions for me? I really encourage you to take a look at that link I just shared. I'm gonna check our YouTube really quickly just to make sure. And again, remember, you can always rewatch our sessions on our YouTube channel. If you go to our YouTube and you go to live, you're able to look at all of the lives that we've done for the past, oh my gosh, however long we've done these pre-arrival sessions. You can rewatch it, and you can rewatch any of the ones. The other visa prep sessions, no, not visa prep sessions. Today's the last visa prep session we have. We only have 2 more pre-arrival sessions left, which is going to be our placement testing and orientation overview. So take a look at your calendar, but you guys all know that I always send out a message on WhatsApp as well, so you guys can do that. But if you guys don't have any other questions, I can let you guys leave a little bit early, but you guys can feel free to reach out to me via WhatsApp. You can also, again, like I said before, schedule a time with one of our students, our current international students, and do our free visa prep sessions. I think that's a good way to practice your answers, get feedback. And you guys already have that link, but I'm gonna share that again. We have limited spots. and limited times, so it might not be the most convenient for you guys, but again, these are the only times we have available at this time, so feel free to do that. Oh, I messed something up. It should be a period here. And again, we wish you the best for your visa interviews. It can be really scary and nerve-wracking when you're thinking about it, but be confident. Make sure you practice your answers, make sure you do your research, and keep your answers short and to the point, and relax, because the interview is going to be really short and really fast, and it's over before you even know. So be confident. If you guys have questions after, if you have any questions after the session today, feel free to reach out to me and I'll do my best to answer as soon as I can. Otherwise, again, good luck. We wish you the best. We're looking forward to welcoming you guys to our beautiful campus in August. My request to expedite got rejected due to a high demand. What would you give me considering approaching deadline? So I'm really sorry to hear that, Donna, that you were not able to expedite your visa interview. If that is the case and you're not able to come here on time, or you're not going to be able to get a visa interview on time to get here for fall. So again, our orientation dates are August 17th through August 21st. So you're going to want to be in Mankato on August 16th, the latest. If you're not able to meet that deadline, you can always defer to a later semester. So you can defer your application to spring 2027 or fall 2027 instead. Deferring is very simple. It's a really easy process. We actually have instructions on our website step by step on how to do that. But if you're not able to get a date on time, then I recommend doing that. All right. If you guys don't have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me on WhatsApp later if you'd like. Email is always great. Actually, I'm not able to respond to WhatsApp as quickly as I would like, but you guys can do that instead. And our next webinar is going to be on orientation overview, so I highly encourage you to join that session, because we will tell you exactly what to pack for orientation, what to bring, what to expect, and we'll take you through the whole week. Alright guys, have a good evening, night, day, wherever you are. We'll see you guys very soon for our other session. So good luck everybody. Keep us posted. Let us know how your visa interview goes. We always like getting updates from you guys. So feel free to reach out to me on WhatsApp. And yeah, have a good day.